Hey, everyone. I'm back again. Forgive my camera setup here. I don't quite have all the things I need to record a good video, but I'll try as I do things to show you maybe some up close to the products and things that I use a lot. But today I thought I would just take a piece of junk mail I've got here. It's just a simple piece of junk mail that came in. It it's just advertising something, and I just like the when I open it up, I first thing I thought is great journal item. It's already got cardboard, it's scored in all the right places, so I thought I would just see what I could do. I'm working on a journal now that kind of has a secret garden theme, so I was just got some printables here. I think these were freebies from on Facebook from Scrimpin' Mommy, maybe it was. I'm not really sure, but she's beautiful secret garden images here that I thought I could somehow use with this little folio, maybe as the cover, part of the cover, or the inside or the outside or something I could use here to make a little folio to put in a journal. So let's see what we've got here. I don't really like how that cuts off the word garden there, but maybe we can get the garden on the front and the secret word on the back. Let's see what I can do here. Just kind of trying to line some things up and still have room to cover the whole thing. So actually I'm okay with that. I think that's what I will end up doing. I'm going to take my digital and just carefully fold it so that the garden part's showing in the front, and I think that will still cover it good and give me enough coverage on both sides. So there's where I want it. So I'll line my edges up real good here. And I do things slower, and sometimes I don't have all the gadgets and gears to do things because it's a little more difficult sometimes just simply making the gadgets and gears work when you don't have a lot of strings. So I resort a lot to the simple folding, tearing, cutting with scissors, all those things that you can do just with a little bit of string. Actually, now that I folded that, and I'm going to find my creaser bone folder thing. I use this little scraper here. It is actually a thing that comes with a Cricut, or you buy with your Cricut, and you can just scrape papers off. It makes a great bone folder. Makes great to spread your glues, and it works real well because you can just grab a hold of it. Where I have a hard time with the skinny ones. I do use them, but it's just easier for me to use something like that. Yeah, that's going to cover it great, and might just have to take a little bit off of my overlap flap there, but I think this will work good. So, don't know about you, but I find that if I'm covering something, I like to put the glue on what I'm covering and then go back and sorry, my phone's ringing. I'm just gonna let it ring and I'll find out who it is and take care of that later. So forgive me for the phone noise in the background here, but I have a not this one. I don't want this one. I want this other one. Sorry about that. I have a Scotch permanent glue stick. I've been trying in my area to get the Scotch Create glue sticks, and I've ordered twice from Amazon, and both times I've received these Scotch permanent glue sticks. So I put a call in to the company to ask about it, and I've been told by the customer service rep that I spoke with that the Scotch Create glue sticks, some sellers might still have them, but they are no longer going to make the Scotch Create. And I don't know if you noticed what I did there, but I have a hard time gripping things. So with glue sticks, pin caps, I'll use a pair of scissors, and what I do is just kind of pry the lid up and either pop it off or pry it up enough where I can just take it off. And I find that these Scotch permanent glue sticks, if you're going paper to paper, they work really well. Just got to make sure that you cover your paper quite a bit and press it down and use like a bone folder or something to burnish it down. I don't know if I'm using the right term. It's one that I've heard a lot of other video creators use. So rather than covering this whole thing with the glue to start out with, and if I do cover the whole thing, I'm going to end up with a sticky gluey mess on my hands. So I'm just simply going to cover this one side here, stop at the fold, but go maybe just slightly over the fold. Be sure that I've got every piece of real estate on this card covered. And I just cover it up. And keep it folded. And put it right into where I want it as far as height-wise. So I'm going to try to go as close to the bottom of the digital that I can. I think that will be good. Hopefully I don't cut off my little girl very much on the other side, because it's kind of cute. And the thing I like about the digital freebies, or even digitals that you purchase, once you purchase them or download them, you can print off as many copies as you would use. Well, I forgot there is no little girl on the second side. She's on another piece. So actually that works out quite well, because there's the word secrets there, the garden entrance. I like it. I think it'll do just fine. So now I'm going to peel this back to the fold and use my glue stick to cover this. And again, go slightly over the fold, but I'm not going to quite yet do that last little piece until I get the big part covered. And usually with the glue sticks, I know a lot of people don't like them, but if you're doing something like this, especially with these Scotch glue sticks, you have a little time to, they're messy sometimes. Bigger ones are easier for me to hold than the tidier ones. So I find that if I get a bigger one like this Scotch permanent glue stick that I got through Amazon, it's just Scotch permanent glue stick. I also have some little ones from Aleene's. I've tried some Glue, GLOO brand. Both of those work well, but this one just seems to be the one I'm using currently. And once I use this up, I'll have some others that I will probably end up using. So I certainly don't like to get products. I try to use them up as best I can, and if I get something and then I end up liking something else, I still try to use up what I have. So I'm going to press it down that way and then refold this corner here and take my little scraper, slider, whatever you want to call this little scraper thing, and really press down hard with it so that the glue stick actually gets into that paper and really holds it down. Because if you don't, that's where you usually run into problems, is when it doesn't want to hold it all down because you didn't really press it down hard. Seems to be, I'm pretty sure I got edges covered here. Don't seem to be coming up at the edges anywhere. And if it does, we can always squirt some more glue in there. Not a big deal. So I'm going to go ahead and cover this last little edge. And perfect. Didn't run out. And if I turn it over, pretty sure I'm past that green edge. So I'm not sure if it's exactly crooked, but I don't think it's crooked enough that once I cut off the edges, it's going to make a whole lot of, oh, there's a piece that came up. So I'm going to go back before I start cutting and just make sure my corners are down good and get things pressed down well before I start cutting it off. It looks like I missed this corner that I just put down here. Must have just missed it with my glue. We'll turn this baby up a bit. There we go. That way we have some more glue coming out the end. That might have been the problem with this little flap. I didn't quite have enough glue coming out to do that. And just press it down, give it a minute or two to grip, and then I go on. I try to remember to cap my glue sticks, but it doesn't always happen around here. I just get busy, and sometimes it just doesn't make it for a few minutes. But worst case scenario, if you do happen to leave it sit out, you can always use a knife or something and cut the end of it off, and it still works just fine. So I'm going to be real careful and hand cut this right up close to the edge of the cardboard without cutting the cardboard. I hope you can see well what I'm doing. So I know it's kind of an odd angle, but and I know there are people out there that will have lots of interesting, as more people watch it, they'll probably have some criticisms about how I do things or things like that, and that's okay. There's a few in every crowd. You just kind of get used to that, especially if you have some kind of a disability. There's always a smart aleck somewhere that will say something about what's going on or how you do things differently, and I just, I'm at that age where I just do it as I can and as I need, and if people want to be critical of it, I just go about my business and do my own thing. And don't let it bother me. Because they're not the ones here in my craft room making it, and they're certainly not the ones I'm going to be giving what I make to, so I try not to let that bother me. I do keep my cutoffs if it's a big enough piece that I could use it to make something with, or to collage or something like that. I do keep my scraps, I suppose is the best term for what you don't use that you're cut, and just can't seem to get my scissors right there on that corner. Maybe I'll come back with my tiny scissors and see if I can trim it up a little bit better. I'm trying to make it as straight as I can here and follow the cardboard. If I don't push the scissors real hard, then I'm not likely to nick into the cardboard. Probably, maybe, now that I think back, could have folded the edges over. And I think for the, I'll go ahead and cut this side because it's awful close, but for the bottom, I think I'll just go ahead and fold it over and not worry about trying to get it cut right. Or I don't know if that might be the top. Depends on how I had the paper on the other side, I guess. So how's everyone doing today? It's a nice day here in Ohio. It's about, well, it's going to be 72, but it's not. It's only in the 60s right now, so sun shining, pretty fall day. Feels like fall. It's a chill to the air today. We're supposed to have a couple 80-degree days coming up this week, which is fine. 80 degrees this time of year is not bad because it didn't get real hot till late afternoon, about supper time, and not long after supper time the sun starts going down and it starts cooling off. So I haven't had my air conditioning on for a while because of the weather. All right, let's try this. I got some book page behind us here, so just gonna make sure I at least get the paper covered really good to the edges. If I get it over on the card, not a big deal, because that's where the paper's going to be folded over to anyway. And there went my glue cap, which happens quite often in the Messy Paper Wheels craft room. The glue cap gets up on the floor. So when that happens, what I do is I'll just take the glue stick, pull the glue back inside, and to keep it from drying out too badly is I'll just set it up like that on my craft table, and then it just seems to not dry up for me. So now I'm just going to take this card and, if I can, just fold it over and press it down. And I'm going to do the same thing on this end. Just fold it over using the card itself to create the fold. Just press it down like that. Press it down as hard as I can. Get my little tool here. Well, that one almost came out. Almost didn't quite make it there. Just barely hit the edge. So that worked out great. And then that'll be covered up by whatever I put here on the inside. So that will work quite well. All right. So now I got the outside covered. So I'm just going to kind of work this folded here on this other flap and press it down gently. Do it while the glue stick's still a little wet, so if my paper slides a little, it can do that. And then again, I may need to take and trim that edge again, just because of how the fold is. So I'm just going to use my scissors and even this up here. But when I use my ink, that will probably more than likely take care of anything showing here. But just going to kind of even it up as best I can. Nothing's ever straight, but it's straight enough for me. So now I have this on the back, and this is what the front looks like. So open it up, and now we have this nice lovely advertisement with a man and his dog. I can't remember what this guy's name is, but anyway, maybe he's not a star, I don't know. But let's see what else I have. I have a couple other Secret Garden ones here. Ones that do have a little girl on here. One is a folder, but I don't think it's going to be long enough to cover the inside of this. No, it's not. So let's see. Put you somewhere. Maybe the bottom of my pile here. And we'll move on to the next page and see what we got. I've got this one here. However, if I put it on sideways, the little girl's either going to be standing on her head or upside down. And I don't want that, and it doesn't quite cover the whole inside. So I think I'll save her for doing something else on the inside of this. And maybe use something else that will coordinate with the green and the flowers here. So I have several different options laying here. Let me see what I've got. I've got this another freebie, French writing digital, I assume. I think. It would put the writing sideways, but I really don't mind. So that's an option. Then I have that, and I don't like. Nope, neither of those. Now this has some pink in it. It could be an option, since I'm going to be decorating up the inside with other things. For a background, that actually looks like it could be a real good option, so we're going to lay that aside. Then I have another digital here. It has a striped paper. I don't know, I kind of like the stripes. I think that's what I'm going to end up using. Unless I come up with something else here. Let me look on through these here and see what else I've got. I've got some advertisements, some more. Lots more rosy paper on there. And that's got some digitals on the back there. And I've got that. Let's see. I thought I had one that was just plain pink on the inside. Maybe this is the one. No, that's not it. Well, no clue. Flip back through here, see if it's one of these. Might be this stripe paper that I stuck. No, that's the back of that. Back of that. Huh. Probably one of these that I've got up here. Let's see. Are you it? Are you plain on the back? Not you. Let's see what else I got here. Are you plain on the back? Nope, not you. Well, don't know where it ended up. Maybe. I have no clue. Okay, well, I guess I think I'm going to go with this pretty rose paper. It's a photo paper that's glossy on one side. This side's glossy. So I really need to use it up anyway. So let's see. Probably can't use the fold unless I put something else on the flap, which is probably what I'm going to have to do anyway, the way it's folded like that. So I think that's what I'll do, and then I'll trim it from the flap here, and I'll use something else on the flap. Maybe something from the Secret Garden stuff that I have here. There's pretty butterflies, and I found the all pink one. There you are, hiding at the bottom. Let's see if it looks any better than the one I chose. Nothing else. I know I can use it for the, I don't know, I kind of like that plain background. Yeah, I think this is going to be the one. Yep, this will be the one, and then I'll put something on the flap. So you're just one. So let's get back to just a random book page here. I'll use my book pages as backdrops for gluing, inking, stuff like that. And then I save them to use them, even with the ink on them, I'll save them and use them to make ephemera out of. Because sometimes your random ink patterns turn out to be really cute. So I'll turn my glue up again and do the same process here that I did on the outside. Squeeze up enough glue. Cover this, and you'll probably find as you watch my channel more and more, I know this is still one of my first videos, but I really like making things from just pieces of junk mail. I save cardboard from packaging. Any of the, I have found a lot of the Tim Holtz ephemera online at different places on sale. The different ephemera packs, ones that have flowers and butterflies and a lot of die cuts in them. And I found those online, and I'll save the backing from them and cover it with something, or use it. The backing has like a real plain brown, so I might put a digital on one side and keep the backing as it is on the back. You know what? Let's do it like this so we can conserve a little bit of that paper from the top, because I'm sure we might just have enough to cover the side up over here after I cut this. Okay, we're gluing ourselves together here. Let's try this again. Alright, so how long's everybody been making junk journals? Is it something you recently started? Or is it something maybe you purchased all your stuff for and you're just watching videos to learn how to do it? I know one thing, don't let yourself get intimidated by the more videos you watch, the more confusing it'll get. And you just need to take some paper, some scissors, and some glue, and just sit down and make something. Once you cross that boundary or whatever you want to call it and actually make something, then you'll find that your process is going to be so much easier. And you don't have to compete with anybody online. Some of these people online have been doing it for several years, and you see their stuff, and it, you just feel like, oh, I can't make anything that pretty. But everybody has their own style. You'll make what is pretty to you. I have a friend that likes to use a lot of scrapbook pages if she makes a book or a journal. I do use digitals, like I said, but I also like to use just random pieces of paper or scrap mail or something like that. I evaluate probably everything. I evaluate it if it's made of paper before it hits my trash can. I know that sounds really sad, but I have saved a lot of things, and I guess it's my way of recycling and contributing to the paper waste. I think we end up wasting a lot of paper, especially paper mail kinds of things, and it's just my way of saving paper and making something out of it and actually using it. I heard someone online, and forgive me if you said this, please comment if you're watching my video and tell me you said it, but like I heard someone say online, you get your envelopes in the mail to pay your bills. Well, rather than using them, pay your bills online. Save the free envelopes, because you will have an endless supply of envelopes for your junk journals. You don't have to buy all the fancy things, and I know sometimes I buy things for shortcuts because it makes my life easier. But you do you. You find what works for you. I'm going to cut this like this, hoping I can recycle this piece for the flap. And I'm going to ink my edges. So again, I'm not too worried about whether or not it's perfectly cut. And I'm trying to cut two at once, which isn't, for some reason, working very well. So let me switch this back and just do one at a time. So let's see here. What exactly I end up with here when we're done. If you hear the TV in the background, I apologize, but hubby's in the living room with the TV on, so I can't very well make him be quiet while I'm recording a video. So that's what happens when you, that's the reality of crafting and doing videos. You will see everything in real time here on my channel. I don't like to do a video and then tell you how I did it. You might not see exactly everything I do online, but if you have any questions, please post. And if I don't show you a tool or something I use, please let me know, and I'll be more than happy to share with you if I can recall where I got them, because some items I have from back when I did card making. I was into making a lot of cards, and I did a little scrapbooking in my younger days. And a lot of things I have now, I've had since then, and I've never used it. So, obviously, the glue's not that old. Here we go. See, there's that piece, and you can't really get a glue stick in there. But what you can do, if you have a fine point glue, this is a Scotch Create glue pen. It works really well. It is a water soluble glue. Well, glue pens stick in my fingers, but you can stick it in like that, and it doesn't take hardly anything to give it a little squirt. Let's see here. Give it a little squirt in there. If anything came out, I'm not sure if it did. Nope. Gotta get the glue flow in here before I can squeeze it in there. Oh, don't you fall on the floor, little piece. I'll need you here in a minute. Okay, let's see. Squeeze that so we can get it flowing before. Oh, there it is. Okay. Get that in there and squeeze, and then just push it down and press real hard, and that will take care of those issues. Again, you want to make sure you press down really hard. You go back over this other page because you folded it again, and sometimes when you fold paper, if it's not completely dry, it'll slide a little bit on you because the fold takes up just a wee bit of paper. Sometimes you have to account for that. So again, I'm just simply going to trim with my scissors here. I'll try to do 2 again, see if I can go without getting hung up anywhere here. I don't know how long this video is going, so I hope it isn't too far, but what I thought maybe I could do is, if it gets to be too long, I can divide it into 2 videos, and in the second video, maybe we could decorate this puppy up. We'll see here. So, if it doesn't shut off, I'm just going to let it record. Alright, so now we have this piece we need to get rid of. And somewhere, oh good, they're right there. I'll show you how what we're gonna put on this to make it open and close. Real simple. I don't know if you've seen them, but I found them at Dollar Tree. The ones I'm going to use today, I believe I got at, I don't know, Joann's or Hobby Lobby. I don't recall which because I went both places in the same day. But they're just little sticky Velcro things. You can pretty much get them anywhere. The ones I found, actually I think they were from Hobby Lobby in the sewing section. But maybe not. I don't know. I can't recall. Okay, so we have this piece that's kind of not really. I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and glue it down, fold it, and then glue it down, and then I'll add a piece over top of it from the fold back, and that way that'll just maybe help reinforce that fold just slightly, because over time maybe the paper might give way a little, so we'll just